I guess before I officially get started, I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for driving out here, however far that may have been, for you to come and show your support. Thanks for everything you've done for me and my family since all of this happened, whether it was just a phone call or cards or comments on my Caring Bridge or blog site. I can't even tell you how much that means to me. You know, when days get really tough, I go back to those things and I reread them because they just help. Like, they help more than you'll ever know. And I guess I just also want to say that if you have questions for me about this whole thing in my life now and what it means, please don't be afraid to come up and ask. I'm all about teaching and educating, as I just said in the video, about what life is like now, so really don't be afraid to ask whatever it is. But man, as I sit here right now, that was pretty crazy of me. And I had no idea how hard my heart would be pounding, or how much I'd be hoping that no one notices how my hands are shaking. But anyway, I know there are high expectations out there for this, especially if you've read my blog, but I just want to remind everyone that when you write, you have a delete button. When you speak, you don't have a delete button. That means you guys can all remember the stupid things I say and remind me of them. I do it to Mom on a daily basis. So, yeah, I don't know how I'm not homeless. Anyway, so I wrote up stuff to hopefully calm my nerves and prevent a little bit of some of the idiotic things from coming out my mouth and ease my nerves. But you know, now actually reading what I wrote is a whole nother, deal. So, all right, okay. I guess the video makes it pretty clear. Oh, shoot, one sec. Needed the clicker. Okay, so I guess the video makes it pretty clear why I'm sitting in front of you and how my injury all happened. I guess I still find it so crazy that it even happened in the first place. I mean, it was my weekend to relax, my weekend to celebrate my graduation from college, and hold on here. There it goes. So my weekend to celebrate my graduation from college, and to look forward to a pretty jam-packed summer of a lot of awesome things. And no, my family and I would never take normal pictures. But anyway, and instead I ended up in critical care in a hospital in Fargo, North Dakota because of a dead tree. Not knowing if I was even going to make it out of the hospital alive. But I have to share this picture with you, in case you haven't seen it yet. But a little 5th grade student drew this for me and gave it to me after I spoke to their school. If you notice, it says, "Fear the trees." I'm gonna have this thing framed because I think that is so awesome. But anyway, okay, so while I was at Fargo, they determined that I had a spinal cord injury. My injury is at T7, T8, or thoracic 7, thoracic 8, which is right above your belly button, so that's kind of where it is on your lovely little spinal cord. And then they, like I said, it wasn't severed or anything, but it was bruised, and that causes problems with, movement. And then they do something called ASIA testing to figure out your actual sensation level, because your injury level and your sensation level, so where you can feel, isn't always the same. I can't even tell you how much I despise ASIA tests. I would rather take 10 physics tests over one ASIA test, and I absolutely hate physics, like with a burning, fiery passion of hatred. So, for ASIA testing, you lie in bed naked, and they first take a wispy Q-tip and touch it to predetermined spots all over your body. And yeah, my sisters were out in Colorado at the time, and I told them that if they were going to be in the room when my ASIA test was going on, they had to be naked too. So, they laughed. Needless to say, it was just me in the room. But anyway, so the wispy Q-tip, it doesn't sound too bad, right? But then they pull out a safety pin, and they poke you with the sharp side, and then they poke you with the dull side all over your body. And you say if it feels sharp or dull, and if it feels the same or different. And they do it everywhere, including in your armpits, which isn't pleasant. And not to mention, it's the strangest thing to reach a portion of your body where you can't tell the difference between the sharp poke or the dull poke. So my ASIA score is T3, T4, which is right here, which pretty much means like the last level that I have completely normal sensation all the way across. I can actually feel quite a bit lower, but it's all cattywampus. It's like this. Cattywampus is a word I learned out in Colorado, just so everyone knows it's a sweet word, use it. But anyway, and then the other part of ASIA testing is they see if you can feel, or if you have sensation at the base of your spine. And you're classified as an incomplete injury if you have sensation there. And there are different levels of incompleteness. For example, like whether you have sensation or if you have motor control as well, and how much motor control you have. And then you can be classified as a complete injury. And when you're classified as complete, at the base of, at complete, means you can't feel anything at the base of your spine. And the unofficial chances of you being moved up to classification D, which is unofficial, or it's incomplete with significant motor function, is less than 5%. Will ever regain significant motor function when you're complete. And I classify as a complete injury. So, of course, you can only put so much weight on test results, and it's really up to you what you want to make of them. And I wish I could sit up here and say I plan to defy the odds and somehow get back motor recovery and give some inspirational message about never giving up hope. But that's not really how I feel. I don't think I ever will regain that function, and I don't ever think I will walk again. But you know what? I'm really okay with that. Like, I seriously am. And in my mind, being in my mind, being okay with not walking isn't giving up. It's simply accepting that this is and always has been God's plan for my life. I get that it may be hard to comprehend as a walking person, then I'm okay with not walking because, I mean, it's all you've ever known. I mean, I wasn't okay with all of this for a long time, and it's an interesting process learning how to accept yourself again. But I do now, and I love myself for all that I stand for and all that I am. Well, sit for. Terrible joke, sorry. It's so bad. It's a Schroth humor, okay, anyway. Okay, so a lot of people want to know what it feels like to be paralyzed. And I guess the closest thing I've ever learned is if you take your third finger and bend it down, and then you like take that, whatever you call this part of your finger, and press it against something flat, and then try and like pick up your fourth finger, you pretty much can't. And that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like you should be able to, but you can't move it. It's really frustrating. That's pretty much what it's like, kind of, to be paralyzed. Okay, so anyway, I underwent a 10-hour surgery in Fargo to stabilize my spinal column, where they inserted a total of 8 screws and 2 rods into my back. That being said, I have a pretty hardcore scar now, as you've already seen in the video, and I'm pretty sure I just like showing it off, so that's why it's on the screen now. Okay, so once I was stabilized, I was actually flown out to Craig Hospital in Denver, Colorado to undergo the rest of my rehabilitation and recovery. Sadly, I don't remember any of the flight, because I don't remember anything from when my injury happened to 3.5 weeks later, and that's really sad considering how expensive it was. But at least there are pictures to prove it. And that woman is actually the pilot of my flight, so strong, independent women are doing what we do, you know, flying planes. So that's cool. Alright. Oh, alright. So, you know, it's amazing the number of things that I stuck in my body to keep me alive through all of this. I had a chest tube stuck in me while I was in North Dakota to keep my lungs inflated. And it was removed once, and then my lung collapsed, and it got put back in and then pulled out again, obviously, because I don't have a chest tube anymore. But I also had a stomach tube that I got my nutrition from, and I called the stuff that they put in my stomach tube kitten food, because I swear it looked like the stuff you give to kittens. I also had a PICC line in my arm, and that's for kind of like rapid delivery of meds on your left-hand side. And that line actually goes like 1 inch away from your heart, so I'm so glad I had no idea that it was that close to my heart until after they pulled it out. And then this little dude is a tracheotomy. It's an awkward little deal, but it's really good for respiratory issues, which I had a collection of. And then this little awkward deal is my TLSO brace. Yeah, this thing is everything but beloved. I kind of cursed this out more often than not, but I wore this for some extra stabilization in the early days after my injury. I told the man who helped fitting it out at Craig that said since it had fake lady parts on it, I wanted him to put abs on it too. He told me he'd give me a Sharpie. Shockingly, I brought it home because I'm going to plant flowers in it this summer. It's cool, right? So a lot of other things change after you have a spinal cord injury. Oftentimes it's things you wouldn't even realize until you're in the situation. For starters, my thermoregulation is really messed up, so I'm not good at like getting myself warm or cooling myself down. So I became really good friends with the hot towel warmer out at Craig Hospital, and I also slept with blankets over my head. And I still sleep with blankets over my head. It's kind of strange. And actually, some people post-spinal cord injury aren't even able to sweat below their level of injury. I used to be like that, but now I sweat like a champ, which is weird, that I'm proud of that. But I'm super proud of sweating like a champ. Okay, all right. Also on the list of things that change is how much time you spend thinking about your skin. Pressure sores are a really big deal when you're in a wheelchair, just because they're really nasty and you have to prevent them. You pretty much do a ton of nonsense to prevent them. For example, I sleep with quad pads under my ankles and I turn every night, every 4 hours at night to give my skin some relief. And Oscar likes to put his little precious head on it. Because it's soft, I guess. And my wheelchair also has a special gel cushion that Oscar also likes. And then I do multiple weight shifts throughout the day. Like if you see me leaning forward, I'm not dying. I'm just like leaning forward to get my weight pressure off, or lifting myself up. That's again giving my butt a break. I'm not gonna lie, my butt gets a lot more attention than it ever used to. Because I have to check it every morning in the mirror to make sure everything looks okay. And I'll always say, nothing says good morning better than your own butt crack. If you don't believe me, try it, I'm serious. And then there's of course all the changes that come with getting around in a wheelchair instead of using your own 2 feet. I started off with 30 minutes of wheelie practice because they're actually useful for things besides just looking cool. Granted, I was always at least 10 minutes late to this class because apparently I'm really talkative in the morning, but I always got some practice in. But like I said, you do use wheelies for things that are like functional, like going over rough terrain and snow, or going up and down stairs or curbs, which I can do. I just need help to go up and down stairs, but I can. It's just a pain in the butt. All right, so yeah, a lot of things have changed. Some of them are not going to give you all the dirty details, but many things have stayed the same. I mean, obviously, I'm still the same Sam with the same terrible sense of humor who makes jokes she probably shouldn't, like asking Dad if he wants to play footsie. I'm still as competitive as ever, if not more so, which I found out when I got to try a bunch of really awesome wheelchair sports out at Craig. I shot archery and even hit the target, which was pretty cool because I just said if I hit the target, it's going to be a big deal. And then I biked and played basketball and volleyball, just to name a few. And the kind's pretty sad because I'm actually better at sports sitting down than I ever was standing up. And I've also had the chance to get in a racing chair, and you'll see that thing is like, that's what that funny deal is in front. That's kind of like the equivalent of able-bodied running, so this is like disabled running. So you lean all the way forward and you push yourself like that. And I was a runner before my injury, and I was signed up to do a marathon this summer, but I was kind of a little preoccupied. So I still plan on doing a marathon. It'll just, you know, be a little bit different. They'll probably be at a lot faster pace than if I would have run it able-bodied. Okay. So you learn a lot of things about yourself and about life when something like this happens. I know I'd be lying to say that my perspective on life hasn't changed. You learn what's truly important to you and what's honestly worth the precious time you've been blessed with. I've learned how important my relationship with the people surrounding me are, and I cherish them more than I could ever explain. I've also learned how blessed I am to belong to such a crazy, amazing family. See, we really don't take normal pictures. And I guess this one's a little bit more normal. We did the turkey trot this year, so we all trotted. Okay. I guess I'd be lying to say that this doesn't suck sometimes. I'd be lying to say that there aren't moments I wish I could go back and make some different decisions so that I wouldn't have been anywhere near where I was when that tree fell. But my crazy family makes us all suck a heck of a lot less. I mean, even if that means I have to go to Costco on a weekly basis so Mom can buy more toilet paper. They still make it suck a heck of a lot less. See, I don't know how I'm still living at home. Okay, I mean, alright, so I know I never planned on living home at age 22, but I'm so glad I have time to just calm down and figure out my life and myself again. Not to mention, it sure can be pretty entertaining getting to spend all this quality time with my mom, who has honestly tried to wake me up by rubbing my leg. So remember that, like, reminding me about stupid things I say? That's one of them. You remind her of that one consistently. Okay. Or joking with Dad when we're sitting in the van and we're convinced that we're always, like, you know, still waiting for Mom, even though I'm the one in the wheelchair. And then, or spending quality time with my older sister, who is generally a few steps behind with the medical related stuff and just says, "I teach band," and puts her hand up in the air. And then of course spending quality time with my little sister, Lindsay, who normally we tease for taking a while to get the punchline of jokes, and therefore call blonde moments pulling a Lindsay. But now she's the one going, "Sam, I know, I'm going to nursing school." And I'm just like, wait, what? Okay. So, I mean, it's all about what you make of things, right? It's all about what you plan on letting stop you or never stop you. I mean, I know I can't move my legs, I know I can't walk, and I probably never will. But just like your ability to walk doesn't make you who you are, my inability to walk doesn't make me who I am. God has my life on a different plan than the one I had planned. But it sure seems like He's got something figured out for me, so now I just have to trust Him. I guess don't count people with disabilities out. I mean, we're just people who've been dealt a pretty unique set of cards to play with. But that's no reason to stop playing the game, right? I mean, why stop? Why should I ever sit still?
I thought it was going to be really strong, but I'm going to hold back some tears there. That's very powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Sam. There'd be a great inspiration. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are